Let's look at number 3 in the review. And before we even start this problem, there's something to kind of keep in mind, and that is that if you want to take the square root of y squared, notice that you can substitute any value you want into for y, because you're going to be squaring that, and that's going to end up being a positive value, and we are allowed to take the square root of positive values. So what's another way of writing the square root of y squared? Well, what we could do is we could define it as a piecewise function, and we could say, all right, it's equal to y when y is greater than 0, and it's equal to negative y when y is less than 0. So just kind of keep that in mind. So now as we're looking at the absolute, or the limit as y approaches negative infinity, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rationalize the numerator. I'm going to multiply the numerator by the conjugate, and I'm going to multiply the denominator by the conjugate. Okay, so when we go through and we do all of the foiling, first, outside, inside, last, what you end up with for the numerator is y squared minus y squared plus 2y. And that's going to be over our new denominator. And if you simplify that, combine like terms and everything, you're going to end up with negative 2y over, and I'm going to for that denominator, I'm going to factor out a y squared that's underneath the radical sign. So basically I'm going to have y squared times the quantity 1 plus 2 over y. Multiply that out to see that it's the same thing. If you multiply that together, you'll notice that those are equivalent statements. Well, as y is approaching negative infinity, 2 divided by negative infinity is approaching 0. And so what you're left with is this factor is approaching 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. All right, so now we have the limit as x is approaching negative infinity of negative 2y over y minus the square root of y squared. And we just said that the square root of y squared is equivalent to negative y when y is negative. And so that is equivalent to saying negative 2y over y minus a negative y, which would be 2y. Y minus a negative y would be 2y. And negative 2y divided by 2y is negative 1.